Hey guys, it's Ethan. I'm trying to make a video outside this time because I feel like the lighting is better for some reason, or my computer captures it better. Um, I think you can see things a little better, especially with the arm. Um, but anyway, this is my 3 month phalloplasty, post-op phalloplasty update. So um, I guess just to catch you guys up a little bit, I've had a bit of a rough month. November was not a good one for me in the beginning. It's gotten a lot better in the last week and a half or so. But I started off the month. Um, I went in on the 4th of November for a UTI, or I felt like it was a UTI. And I also had the fistula I was dealing with reopened after it had closed, and it looked a little infected. So I decided to go in. I went into urgent care, and they did a urinalysis, and I did have a UTI. So they gave me antibiotics. But the doctor took a look at the fistula site, and she said it didn't look infected. Just try to keep it as clean as possible, and hopefully it would close up again. Um, but then, about 3 or 4 days later, I got an email notification through my health portal saying that they had new test results for me, and I thought, oh, well, that should just be the urinalysis. Like, I already know what the results were. So I waited like a day, and then I finally looked at them, and I was really shocked because they had done a culture on my urine and found that I had MRSA in my urine sample, which is a pretty serious infection. Like that's a the antibiotic resistant type of infection. So I kind of panicked. I called the nurses hotline, and they looked at my test results and said that it seemed to be a pretty minor case, and that it was very sensitive to all the antibiotics that they tried against it, except for one. But the antibiotic they had sent me home with should work. So I made a follow up with my primary care physician who was out of the office. So I saw her associate. Um, so she retested the urine about right after I was done with the antibiotics the first round, and was kind of upset that they hadn't put me on a stronger dose after they found the MRSA, because what they had me on was not strong enough, she said. So she put me back on antibiotics, double the dose of what I was taking, and for 10 more days. So I've had enough of antibiotics for a while. Um, and at first I felt really crappy. I just had like no energy. I was not feeling really good. But then I'd say probably like 3 days into that new course, I started to feel a lot better. And it's just kind of gone from there. So the fistula actually ended up closing back up, and it's been closed for probably 2.5 weeks now, which is really nice. Yeah, I think it closed. Yeah, it actually closed up on the first round of the antibiotics they put me on, but the second round, yeah, and then the second round, I don't know, just it did what it did. But they tested my urine again, and there was no MRSA this time that they found, so that's good. But that was scary. I mean, that's not something that I was expecting to get an email notification on. Like, they should give you something more than that. And my case manager also said the same thing. She was pretty upset with how that got handled. So, um, yeah. Anyway, that's behind me. Like I said, the past week and a half, almost 2 weeks, have been pretty good. Last Monday, I went for a run for the first time post-op, and it was a little hard, but I managed, and it wasn't that bad. Sorry, it's a little windy. Um, but yeah, it wasn't too bad. I felt a little bit of a tugging sensation in my thigh um, where the superficial split thickness graft was taken from. Um, but it was manageable. I mean, I'm definitely out of shape, but it wasn't too bad. And then I just ran again today, so I feel pretty good. It feels good. I'm hoping that fistula stays closed. It seems to be for now. Um, yeah, so there's a couple things that I've been doing since the last video, specifically in regards to the arm, and that is, so this is kind of what it looks like right now. You can kind of see it a little better on this. I am going to take some pictures and just put them in the video, but you can see it okay. I mean, it still looks pretty obvious, but the two things that I've changed with the arm care regimen has been I started using cocoa butter with vitamin E, in it, and I'll put a picture of that. It's a Palmer's brand. It was like $5 for a jar, and I've been using it probably since the beginning of November. Yeah, since the beginning of November, and it has it goes a long way, a little bit. So it was well worth the $5 I spent. Actually, I think it was less than $5, but anyway, well worth it. It seems to have really kind of softened up the graph, which is nice. Um, and maybe, and maybe I'm imagining it, or maybe it's just time, but it seems to have helped with like the skin elasticity. So I feel like I have a little bit more, flexibility in my arm. Um, I don't know that it's gotten much better since last time, but it doesn't feel as constricted as it was feeling. So that's good. And the other thing that I've started doing is I bought this thing on Amazon. It's a silicone um, patch basically, but it's like 5 inches by 6 inches, and it actually works really well, and it fits right around my arm. The only part that gets cut off a little bit is this like triangular section at the bottom, but otherwise the thing goes all the way around my arm, and I've been wearing that. I wear it a good portion of the day usually, or I'll, sometimes I'll start it at night and then wear it for like, like 15, 16, 17, 20 hours sometimes, as long as I can stand it, because sometimes it gets a little itchy. But I do wear that, and that has really seemed to be helping smooth out things a little bit. And then when I take it off, I just put the cocoa butter on. But when it's on, I can't have anything underneath it because it'll interfere with the silicone. Um, but that thing is working pretty well. I think it was like $35 off Amazon, and I've heard from another guy that you can use it for like 3 to 4 weeks before you have to get rid of it, and it just doesn't have any, I guess, silicone left on it. Um, but yeah, so I'm a little over a week in on using that, and that seems to be working pretty well. I don't know that it's making like drastic changes, but I don't know, it seems to be lightening up a little bit, and part of that's just like I said, time. The time, time is really the biggest factor in these kind of healings. But yeah, so those are kind of the big things right now. Yeah, the biggest thing is just being able to work out again is really nice, mentally for me, and just physically, I think it'll help me start feeling better faster. Um, I was gonna show you guys, how things looked with my underwear on. I don't think I can quite fathom going fully naked yet in front of the camera, so I'm not gonna do that. But it's a little cold, so maybe I'll do it in another video. When it's a little bit better out. But I just wanted to let you guys see how it kind of fills out the underwear, and it fills it out pretty well. I mean, it's not amazing because it's not like huge. I ended up with, I think now that things have settled and stopped like shrinking and changing, which I'm sure there'll still be some changes, but I've kind of settled at around about the 5 inch mark in length, and I haven't done a girth check in a few weeks, but I was somewhere around the 4 inch mark in girth, so not super big, but it's me, and it's pretty cool. And that is the one other thing that's really been nice, is I've been actually just like feeling really excited about having done this. Like for a while I didn't think I was going to get there, um, but I feel really cool. I mean, I don't feel really cool. It feels really cool to be like, I have a penis and it's nice, and it's mine and it's cool, and I can pee. um, I don't have any feeling yet, still, which I'm a little disappointed that I don't even have any beginnings of feelings. Um, but I will say I do still have erotic sensation in my scrotum, basically, because that's where they kind of buried the old stuff. So um, I can still, orgasm, so that's a thing, which is nice. I don't know if I talked about that in my last video, but I could do it, so it's, functions. Um, yeah, maybe I would do a different post about like that type of functioning. But I don't have a partner, so I don't, and I don't really do the hookup stuff, so I don't, haven't had sex yet. which I can now, theoretically. Obviously, I don't have an implant, but I did purchase the elator, which when I get that, I will try and do a video about that too. But it's basically an external erection device, so that should be cool. Again, I don't have anybody to test things out with, but maybe soon. We'll see. I don't know. You know, I'm excited for that, but that might be a while. So yeah. Other than that, I don't think there's much else. I'm gonna put a couple pictures, like I said, in at the end here. I'll do some pictures of the arm, and then I'll show you a picture of the silicone strip and the Palmer's cocoa butter that I've been using, so you can kind of see what that is. And yeah, yeah. Otherwise, I think that's all I have right now. That's all I can think of. As usual, any questions, send them my way, and I will try to make an update shortly here. Okay, take care, everybody.